everyone! Welcome back to the lab, or Lapis at Brotza. If it is your first time here, lab is a place where you can learn things about calligraphy, watercolor, and journaling. So if you're interested in starting and improving your art, please subscribe and join the lab squad. Last week, we talked about some of the materials you can use for calligraphy. If you're new to brush calligraphy and you haven't watched that yet, just click this link on the top to know what tools I recommend for beginners. Today, you will learn the basic strokes you need to know if you want to do brush calligraphy. These strokes are the foundation of every letter and every word you'll ever write. So learning and mastering these strokes is extremely important. Brush calligraphy is different from cursive handwriting. This is a good thing for people like me who don't have the best handwriting because good or pretty handwriting is not necessary in calligraphy. Cursive is a form of writing where the letters are connected to each other and are usually written without lifting your pen up. The main purpose of cursive is to write fast. You connect letters together and write it in one go to finish it as quickly as possible, so you can write long words without lifting your pen up. Making all the letters even and pretty is actually not the focus of cursive. Calligraphy is the other way around. When you do calligraphy, you usually have to go in a slower pace, especially for beginners. This is because you have to break down each letter into sets of strokes. Also, it is impossible to write all the letters without lifting your pen up. You actually have to pick your pen up after each stroke you write. So if you have to write fast, for example, you have to take notes in class, it will be challenging to use calligraphy. They say cursive is a skill and calligraphy is a discipline. The brush pen I'm going to use today is, of course, my favorite, Pentel Touch Pen. I highly recommend this for beginners because it is very easy to control and it doesn't fray that easily. I made free worksheets for you, Lab Squad, so it took me almost a week to finish this, but I wanted to do something really nice for you. The worksheet we'll use today is the Basic Strokes worksheet, but I made worksheets for all the lowercase letters in the alphabet. I really want to make learning brush calligraphy as convenient for you as possible. Anyway, as I've mentioned before, all the letters are made up of basic strokes. For example, this lowercase a here, if you look at the list of the basic strokes, you will see that the A is made up of an oval and an underturn. The worksheets I made have stroke guides in it, so it will show you the details, the step-by-step guide on how you can write each letter. By the way, all my social media accounts are on the worksheet, so please check it out and follow me. You can also tag me in your pictures and videos so I can also see your progress. That will help me improve these videos and help me figure out how I can help you better. You can print the worksheets again and again, but if you don't want to do that, you can print it once and use a tracing paper for your practice. Just make sure that you buy a proper tracing paper that will not blot and will not cause your brush pens to fray. So now let's talk about the 4 basic lines in brush calligraphy. These lines will serve as your guide to help you make your letters even and make it look more polished. The first one is the ascender line. It is the topmost line, so your basic letters must not go beyond the ascender line. The line below that is a waistline. This is the waistline that you will always want to think about, not the type that you want to forget, because most of your lowercase letters will be written between the waistline and the baseline. So the baseline is the line that goes below the waistline. The last one is the descender. The descender line is where the loops of your J's and G's go. Let's now discuss how to properly hold your pens. The usual way I hold a regular point tip pen is like this. Some people like to hold it very close to the tip, and we also usually hold it straight and keep it at a 90-degree angle. But this should never be how you hold your brush pens. First, you need to keep some distance between the tip of your pen and your hand. Don't hold it too close or it will be very difficult for you to control the pressure and make smooth lines, because if you hold it like this, every little jitter or movement your hand makes will make the lines crooked. In my case, I always hold it close to the pen cap mark, like this. Next, don't grip it too tightly. Just relax your fingers. Holding pens are like relationships. If you strangle your pen, it will ruin the work you've been doing. Holding pens are like relationships. If you strangle your pen, it will ruin your work. Lastly, instead of holding it straight, keep it at a 45-degree angle to prevent it from fraying. Okay, now to the strokes. The most basic strokes are the downstroke and the upstroke. Downstrokes must be thick, and you can do this by putting pressure on your pen and pressing it against the paper a little bit harder. You can have different intensity of pressure, and that will determine the thickness of your downstrokes. However, I recommend that you aim for the middle pressure or the exact amount of pressure, because too little pressure will make your downstrokes look similar to your upstrokes, and too much pressure, though it can provide stark contrast between upstroke and downstroke, can destroy your pen. When writing the upstroke, put as little pressure as you can while making sure that the tip of your pen still touches the paper. Let your pen glide through the paper. You have to practice this though, because making your upstroke smooth and consistent can be quite challenging at first. Then comes underturn. Underturn is a U-shaped stroke that comes from a thick downstroke, and then you have to curve to a thin upstroke. So heavy pressure at first, and then curve to the right, and then light pressure up. Next is an overturn. Overturn is the opposite of underturn because it starts with a thin upstroke, then it curves to the right and transitions to a thick downstroke. The important thing to practice in over and underturns are the curve. Make sure that the transition is curved and not angled. I think the most challenging part is maintaining the thinness of your upstroke. So one trick I have discovered is to hold your breath while doing the upstroke to reduce the shake of your body, and then exhale during the downstroke. Who knows, calligraphy can also be a form of meditation or a breathing exercise, right? Then we go to the child of the under and overturn, which is the compound curve. This is a combination of the two, so you have to start with an overturn, start with a thin stroke and curve to thick downstroke, and curve to thin upstroke again. So you may be shaky at first, but keep practicing because practice makes progress. Now it's time for some challenge! Woot woot! My challenge for you is to try putting two compound curves together. So you have to make two compound curves touch each other. Come on, let's try it! Tell me if you find this challenge easy or difficult. Comment down below. You can also upload it, a picture of it, or a video on your Instagram or Facebook, whether it be on your wall or your stories, and then tag me so I can see your progress. I am also planning to feature some of your works in my next video, so if you want to see your work in the next video, just tag me in your stories or in your wall posts. All of my social media accounts will be in the description box below, and it will also be in the worksheet, so tag me guys, come on! Now we move on to the loops. First is the ascender stem loop. Ascender means it is a stroke that goes above the waistline and reaches the ascender line. Stem is the spine of the letter or the thick downstroke. Loop means the two strokes have to touch each other to form the loop or the circle that never ends, just like the circle of life. To make the ascender loop, you have to start from right to left. Start with a thin upstroke and then curve to the left to a thick downstroke. Make sure that the strokes touch each other and forms a loop. Now, descender stem loops. I chose to give you two types of descender stem loops because you will need variations for some of the letters. For example, the descender loop for J is different from the descender loop for Q. So let's start with the basic descender stem loop, okay? So descender means it is a stroke that goes below the baseline towards the descender line. And the stem means it is a thick downstroke. And once again, you have to make the loop, so your endpoint should touch your stem. Though not in the usual basic stroke selection, I added this descender loop variation because you will need this when writing letters such as F and Q. So better practice it if you plan to write words such as fabulous queen, which we all are. So this one goes from left to right. Thick downstroke curve to a thin upstroke curve on or a little before the descender line. So yes, queen! The last one is oval. Oval may be the last one, but definitely not the least because it is the most challenging of all the basic strokes. To make this, I usually start in the middle of the waistline and the baseline. So we're going from right to left. Thin upstroke towards the left, curve on the waistline to a thick downstroke, and then curve to the right before the baseline and make a thin upstroke. Make sure you end up where you started because that's a full circle. Additional basic strokes are the entrance and exit strokes, which are just a thin diagonal upstroke. I will discuss more about this stroke when we start connecting our letters together, okay? And that's all the strokes you need for now to start your brush calligraphy journey. You can download the worksheet in my blog, so download it and print it and use it for your practice. The link is in the description box, so it is free, okay? If you enjoyed this video and you find it useful and helpful, please like and share it with your friends so we can grow the lab squad. And most of all, please subscribe to my channel. Also, click the notification bell so you will be informed as soon as I upload the next video, because next week we will start writing letters. I would also love it if you can share your progress and your practices with me and the entire lab so we can keep inspiring each other. So all you have to do is to follow me on Instagram or Facebook and then snap a picture or record a short video of you doing drills and then post it and tag me on Instagram or Facebook. So my Instagram and Facebook accounts are in the description box below. So it would be nice if we can create this community and we can keep inspiring each other to be better. Thank you very much, and let's continue living an artful life. See you next week!